Hey guys, so the new patch notes have just dropped and I want to take a quick look at them today and summarize it for you guys. So let's quickly pull them up here and see what we've got. So this is going to be a minor update. There isn't really that much to talk about, but there are a few impactful things which are pretty good and I want to be quickly going over them. So Defy Honor and Matriarch's Retribution. As far as when the patch is going to go live, we can see that server maintenance is actually going to be going on tomorrow, and we can expect that tomorrow we'll have the patch in EU and Asia, and then on Wednesday for the Americas. So that's going to be pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to see what's coming here. So we can see, first of all, the usual, which is going to be the Returner events. I'm not going to talk so much about this. So we've got Conqueror, all clans on deck, Wild Brawl, and then Shields of the Hearth 8-day event. When I initially read this, I was thinking this is some new event, but actually this is going to be a returning event that we've had before, and it's just going to be some really easy tasks to complete, and you will have a chance to get like a Telluric Pearl or a Legendary Crest, I think. So that's kind of nice, but I would have liked to see some new events, kind of like what we had before with the fishing event or the dungeon speedrun event. It would be nice to see some new events here just to shake things up a bit. So for the feature updates here, we can see that we've got some challenge dungeon combat rating changes. So it says when entering a challenge dungeon, player combat rating will always be checked to prevent being grouped into a dungeon that you cannot play. So I know that a few people have been complaining about this. This hasn't been affecting me personally because usually I try to group up with friends, but I guess if you're playing in like a random group, then this can be a bit annoying if you get grouped up with players who are a lot lower in power level, and then you end up spending ages in the challenge dungeon. So this is good to see. And then we have some dungeon kick feature updates. This is not really that interesting. I kind of found it hilarious here. It says that you cannot be kicked for being AFK for doing the first or second highest most damage in the party. So I guess this is kind of to stop some toxic behavior. Maybe people are kicking others from the dungeon just for no reason at all. But yeah, I guess they're kind of cleaning up the dungeon kick feature here, so that's fine. And then we've got the Spectral Allies in Inferno difficulty. You can now summon Spectral Allies in the dungeons when in Inferno difficulty. Only the best allies would follow you into the lowest depths of hell. So honestly, I don't really play with Spectral Allies. I think this is like a feature if you're running dungeons solo or something. So maybe if you're like in the lower Inferno difficulties and you're struggling to find a party, then this feature would be good for you, and for newer players, maybe having the Spectral Allies will help them out there. So not really a feature I'll be using myself, but no complaints from me. And then next we've got the Monster Essence at Castle Ereban. So this is a really nice change. So it says that an additional Heraldric Altar has been added into Kane's workshop near the gates for Abyssal Verge, Ereban, and Castle Vanguard. So this is a really nice change. I'm really happy with this one. Probably the best change in this whole patch. And honestly, so if you didn't know, previously how it worked is once you had your Monster Essence from either Ereban or Abyssal Verge, you'd have to actually teleport all the way up here just to get to the Heraldric Altar and actually turn in your bestiary, which was really annoying. I mean, this was super annoying. It would be like every 2 or 3 runs you'd have to make this teleport, which was super annoying. So now I'm guessing that they're going to add it hopefully somewhere around here, or maybe somewhere near the gate here, so we can actually turn this in here, and we can also turn in our Abyssal Essence as usual at rare. So this will make farming these modes even better and faster, and this is a change that I've been asking for a while, so I'm really happy to see this in the patch notes. And then finally, we've got the familiar change here, and then for the final change they've made here, so you can now cancel your familiar expeditions early. So this is really good, because before, if you send your familiar, they're going to be stuck for a few hours in a task, and if you've made a mistake, let's say with the Accursed Tower, like if they're already capped and you haven't claimed the reward, you can obviously still send your familiar there, so it kind of messes it up. So it's good that you are able to cancel this, and I do believe that this functionality exists in other games, so it's nice to see that we also have it now in Diablo Immortal. Aside from these patch notes, there were also some bug fixes, but unfortunately the bug fixes in the English notes haven't been updated yet. But we do have the Chinese patch notes which included the bug fixes, so I'll quickly pull those up now. So this has been translated directly from Chinese to English, so expect there to be some mistakes here. So problem fixes: fix the problem that the Demon Hunter's legendary equipment, Blind Insight, did not correctly prevent casting of some displacement skills. I think this is dash skills when the arrow tower pulled back the target to prohibit displacement. So I think that this is to do with the Demon Hunter helmet, I believe. So if we take a quick look here at Demon Hunter, I believe it's this one here, the Eyeless Watch. So Sentry now summons a rope target that fires at surrounding enemies, attaching ropes and pulling them in. Affected enemies are stunned if they move outside the turret's range. So this would also disable enemies from using dash abilities, and this wasn't working correctly, and enemies could still dash. So it's good that they are fixing up these new essence here. And then the second and final change was made to the Blood Knight class, and I believe that a lot of players have been complaining about this, so it's good that they have actually fixed this bug. So this was actually because of the Shroud of Night essence. I think it was the Shroud of Night chest, I believe, which is the Macabre Facade. So this one says that Shroud of Night conjures 2 immobile shadow apparitions, and these basically deal primary attack damage, and it was just dealing huge amounts of damage on like the Battlegrounds Heart, or the statues, or also the Heart and Vigil Blades, or Shadow War. And Shadow War would just be over in a matter of seconds if you had a Blood Knight on your team, and this was obviously performing way too good in those modes. As far as I understand it, this chest essence here, combined with the offhand essence Hanging Chalice, which reads that after Shadow's Edge hits an enemy, 2 blades ricochet out, randomly targeting nearby enemies. So this interaction was just dealing a lot higher damage than intended towards the boss enemies in PvP, and this was just a huge problem, and I'm glad that they have fixed this. So that's about all that we got in this patch, guys. In my opinion, this is a really small patch, but there were actually some good and meaningful changes in it, and obviously the Blood Knight exploit and people cheesing their way to victory did obviously need to be fixed, so it's good to see that they have addressed that, and I am looking forward to the next patch. I do think that there are some really big things in the works with the next major update, and I'll be looking forward to covering that when that comes out. For now, I'm going to be signing off, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.